Welcome, welcome, welcome to day 2 of geometry plans, emergency plans for my class. This is Mrs. Mitchell, Northside High School. Yay, so glad you guys are here. I miss you. So let's work through this one right here. Today we're doing the distance formula. As you know, when we're finding the distance between 2 points, that's literally how far it is between these 2 points on a coordinate plane. I'm going to just show you an estimate of what this would look like if we were graphing it, which we are not. Don't graph it. We're going to do it algebraically. So our ordered pair is -6, 3. So let me plot that point. So quick graph, we're going to estimate that 6, -6, +3, about right there. And then over here, we're looking at 4, -5. So go over 4, down -5, probably about right there. And we're looking at how far is it from this point to this one. Okay, there's no way of really counting it because it's cutting through squares if you had it on a graphed piece of paper. So we're going to do this algebraically. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to label these pods. Remember, I've taught you how to label them. Let's do it again. We've done it for 3 years, but it never hurts for a refresher. So we're going to give each of these their own number. So this is pod number 1. This is pod number 2. Now, in each pod, each ordered pair, there's a location on a coordinate plane. In each pod, there is an X and a Y. And they're in alphabetical order every time, X, Y. And so therefore, in this pod, it's X, Y. And as I've told you, it's better to go ahead and label 1, 2, and then X, Y, X, Y. And do each step for the whole thing before you go to the next step. It's going to make it easier to follow later. All right, so don't make the mistake of trying to do X1, Y1 before you go to the 2. So now we're going to give this last name, the name of this pod, this 1 here. We're going to give the name of the pod, I named it 1, to both the X and the Y. So this is X sub 1 and Y sub 1. Sub is what we're saying. It means little, the little number. All right, so here we have a 2, so we're going to give this last name of 2 to each of these. X sub 2 and Y sub 2. Okay? It's very important you have those in there and have it labeled right for working it out into the distance formula. So here, my darlings, is the distance formula. Okay, so it's the difference of the x's, so it's x sub 2 minus x sub 1, difference of the two x coordinates, squared, plus the difference of the y's, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. All right, so now we are going to just plug these in down here and watch it happen. Are you ready? Here we go. What I'm doing is I'm going to set this up, square root, and I'm going to give them set of parentheses squared with the minus in the middle, plus the set of parentheses squared with the minus in the middle. But I'm also going to put where this x squared would be, I'm putting a second set of parentheses, smaller set. And where the x sub 1 would be, I'm putting a smaller set, so that it's easier to keep up with my negatives, okay? So we have a big set of parentheses on the outside that are squared, and then 2 smaller ones on the inside. A big set of parentheses on the outside, and 2 smaller sets on the inside. Now we're just going to plug and play. All right, so I have x sub 2 is going to go right here. What is that? That is the 4. I'm going to put the 4 right there. Then we have our x sub 1. Oh, after we use it, we lose it. Our x sub 1 is -6. See right there? I'm going to put the -6 here. All right, and over here, I've got my y sub 2. And that, oh, use it, lose it. Don't forget to mark it out. Y sub 2 is my -5. That's going to go right here. And then my y sub 1 is going to go right here. By the way, all that chiming in is my wonderful little computer notifying me that some people are needing help. But I'm committed to y'all at this very moment. My y sub 1 is a 3, so I'm going to mark it out. Okay, right? All right, so now I've got it set up. So now we're just going to simplify. I'm going to give you the square root house, the big parentheses squared plus the big parentheses squared. And let's just do our work. We have 4 minus -6. In case you're unsure, I don't judge you, so it's best sometimes to use the calculator so you don't make silly mathematical mistakes. 4 minus -6, right? Equals 10. So that's a 10 right here. And then we've got right here, -5 minus 3. So -5 minus 3 would give us -8. Okay, now we've got to square both of those. So we're going to give us a whole new square root house. So we got 10 squared, that's 100, plus, now how do we do this -8 squared? You've got to put parentheses around -8 before you square it. Okay, let's just clear everything else. You can watch it happen. Parentheses, negative, not minus, -8, close parentheses with our x squared button. Hit enter, that's a positive 64. If you don't put the parentheses around it, let me show you what happens. Clear, -8x squared give you -64, but we just saw that with parentheses around it, gives you positive 64. Please make sure you're using positive 64. When you square it, put your parentheses around it so we know it's positive 64. Now we have the square root of 164. We add those two together, 164. Okay, so let's do what the square root of 164 is. Square root 164 equals 12.81. So we have 12.81. That's the distance between those two ordered pairs, 12.81 units. So from this dot to this dot is 12.81 units. You do not have to draw it. All I'm looking for is this right here, okay? I hope that helps. Give me a call, give me a text if you need me. Have a good one.